Yeah, definitely. It's a huge part of it.
Like, it really gets into why Linux is the go-to for both the good guys and, well, the not-so-good guys in the cybersecurity world.
Right. It's interesting how it attracts both sides.
And the book just cuts right to the chase, you know?
Yeah.
It's all about control.
Mm-hmm.
Basically saying Linux gives you this, like, insane level of control over your system.
Way more than your average operating system, that's for sure.
Totally. Like, other operating systems can only dream of this kind of control.
It's kind of like, you know how most operating systems are like, here's your car, have fun, but don't even think about opening the hood.
Yeah, like, don't touch my stuff.
Exactly. Linux is the opposite. It's like, here's a toolbox, here's the manual, go nuts.
Because it's open source.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head.
That whole show me the code philosophy. And that's what makes it so powerful for cybersecurity, right?
100%. It's like having a blueprint to a fortress, you know? Ethical hackers can use that transparency to find the weak points and fix them.
But then, of course, someone can use that same blueprint for not so ethical purposes, right?
Right. Double-edged sword, for sure.
And the book makes a big deal about how this level of control allows for some serious manipulation, which obviously has big implications for cybersecurity.
It does. It changes the game entirely.
So it's like, with other systems, you're kind of in the dark.
You are.
You're just trusting that whoever built it made it secure enough.
Blind trust, basically.
But you don't actually know what's going on behind the scenes.
Nope. It's a black box. You just hope for the best.
Right. But Linux, because it's open source, it shines a light on everything.
Every nook and cranny.
Nothing is hidden. And for security researchers, that's like gold.
It's invaluable. They can examine every single line of code, find even the tiniest vulnerabilities.
I like how the book puts it. It's like having a spotlight shining directly on each and every component of the operating system.
Such a great analogy. And when you think about it like that,
It clicks. Suddenly, it makes perfect sense why Linux is so huge in the cybersecurity world.
Exactly. And this granular control, right?
Yeah.
It means you can make tiny, precise adjustments.
Instead of having to, like, take a sledgehammer to it.
Exactly. It's like using a scalpel instead. Much more controlled, much more precise.
Which is essential when you're dealing with the complexities of, like, real-world cybersecurity threats.
100%. It's the only way to really stay ahead.
Okay, but get this. The book drops this stat about hacking tools being designed for Linux.
Oh, yeah.
It says well over 90% are made specifically for Linux. 90%. That just blew me away.
It's a staggering number, isn't it? Really puts it in perspective.
Totally. So why is that? What makes Linux such a magnet for those tools?
Well, a big part of it goes back to that open source thing we were talking about. Developers can get their hands dirty, you know?
Because the code's right there for them to tinker with.
Yeah. And that goes for, well, both the good guys and the bad guys, unfortunately. But it's that open environment that's made Linux the platform for these tools.
Makes sense. The book actually throws out a few specific examples,
Yeah.
like Metasploit and Nmap. Aren't those kind of the heavy hitters?
They are. Metasploit is like, if you're into ethical hacking, it's what you use to simulate attacks. See where the vulnerabilities are.
So it's kind of like you're playing the role of the bad guy, but for a good purpose.
Exactly. You're testing the defenses. And Nmap, think of it like, you know when doctors use that thing to see inside your body?
An X-ray?
Yeah, Nmap is like an X-ray for your network. You can see all the devices, what's running, even open ports. Pretty powerful stuff.
Okay, so someone listening might be thinking, well, that's cool, but I don't plan on being an ethical hacker anytime soon. So why does all this Linux stuff even matter to them?
Good question. It's kind of like, even if you're not a locksmith, it's still good to know how locks work, right?
Yeah, so you can protect yourself better.
Exactly. You understand the mechanisms, you understand how things can be exploited, and then you can be smarter about your own security.
Makes sense. It's like knowing how a house is broken into can help you prevent it from happening.
100%. And this leads to a really interesting point the book makes about the future. Ready for this? It says, the future belongs to Linux Unix.
Whoa. Bold statement.
Totally.
Part of me is like, really? But then again, think about all the servers running Linux already. It's running a huge chunk of the internet.
It is. It's the backbone of so much. Websites, online services, you name it. And then you've got the whole mobile side of things, too.
Oh, man. Our phones. Don't even get me started. Android, which like most smartphones run on. Built on Linux.
It is. So we're already living in this Linux-influenced world, whether we realize it or not.
So we've talked about why Linux is so important in cybersecurity. And we've touched on all those awesome tools, like it's got a whole arsenal. But then the book takes it a step further with this Kali Linux thing.
Yeah, they really hone in on that.
It's like they're handing you the keys, right? Like, here you go, now go explore.
It is. It's an invitation to dive deeper, for sure.
So for those of us who aren't, like, Linux experts,
Oh.
what exactly is Kali Linux?
So Kali, it's a Linux distribution, right? But it's made specifically for ethical hacking and penetration testing.
Hold on, back up a sec. Distribution. Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Okay. Think of it like this. Linux, the core system, is like a plain pizza crust, right?
Okay, I'm following.
It's the base. Now, a distribution is like someone took that crust and already put all the toppings on it. Like they made a specific kind of pizza.
So Kali is like, what, the supreme pizza of Linux, with all the toppings cybersecurity folks love.
Exactly. It's got all the tools a cybersecurity pro would need, all ready to go, pre-installed.
Nice. And the book mentions something about Debian. Is that like the brand of pepperoni on this pizza?
You got it. And Debian is a big deal in the Linux world, like a really well-known, trusted brand, known for stability, security.
Oh, like, you know that pepperoni's always going to be good, always going to be consistent?
Exactly. And Kali inherits all of that because when you're digging around in systems, you need something reliable.
Makes sense. You don't want your tools breaking in the middle of something important.
Yep.
So give us the rundown. What kind of tools make Kali so special?
Oh man, it's got everything. You want network scanning, it's got you covered. Vulnerability analysis, it's there. Password cracking.
Yeah.
It's like this incredible high-tech security kit, but it's all in one place.
And what I love is you don't need to be a Linux genius to get started with it. The book even walks you through putting it on a virtual machine.
Which is huge.
Way less intimidating than I thought it'd be.
Virtual machines, man, they changed the game. It's like creating this little safe space on your computer where you can mess with Kali and install stuff and run tests.
Without worrying about, like, accidentally breaking your entire computer.
Exactly. No risk, all reward.
Love it. So if you're out there listening and this whole cybersecurity thing is calling your name,
Even a little bit?
Kali seems like a really solid place to start. You know, get some hands-on experience. And this book gives you the roadmap to do it.
It's a great starting point.
It really makes you think, though, if Linux, especially Kali, is this powerful, this accessible, why isn't everyone using it? What's the catch?
Right.
It's like the quiet powerhouse of the tech world. Running our phones, the websites we use, everything. But most people don't even realize it's there. Well, I think we've given everyone a lot to chew on today. It's been a wild ride exploring the world of Linux and cybersecurity. And for anyone listening, if you want to keep diving in, Linux Basics for Hackers is your new best friend. Who knows, maybe you'll be building your own cybersecurity fortress with Linux someday. Until next time, keep exploring, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.